This is the first trading day, obviously, we've had since we got what were good employment numbers on Friday. Jim, you know, I want to come back on the economic front as well. That is something we've talked about oftentimes, and it was referenced in that journal story that we talked about a bit earlier. Not clear that those checks are being spent in the way that we thought, at least portions of, in the stock market. Again, this new cohort, you know, it's funny sitting here where I was a year ago when the pandemic was just in its early stages and we all were in disparate places. Reminds me of that moment when we started to learn of potentially a new cohort existing, Jim, but we're of investors who soon were going to be getting some checks, who then decided to, in part at least, use some of that to bet on stocks. Doesn't seem to be happening as much as we thought with the latest $1,400 checks, does it?
No, and I think you hit on the key word, David. Bet on stocks. You didn't say invest in stocks. You said bet on. And what you're here.
And I did it specifically for that reason.
Yep. Yeah, because, I mean, what happened is that there was that article this morning was so seminal, actually, because it was the numbers are staggering. The decline in Robinhood, which is coming public, the decline of the decline of people looking at it. It's almost as if, yes, it finally happened again, like in you're going back to 2001. They just put their statements in the drawer and said, don't worry, the companies are going to come back. Carl, the companies don't come back. For the vast majority, we learned, they don't come back. And that's why if you're diversified, you're going to survive this period. I mean, remember, the S&P was up 7% in the first quarter, and yet there are people putting their statements in their drawer, not wanting to look at it. What did they own? And the answer is I think they owned a lot of stuff that they bought very high. And, yes, it is true Snowflake is a great company, and ARC Innovation is a great fund, and we see some terrific SPACs, but that doesn't mean that their stock prices where they were bought are anywhere near here. And I think a lot of people are foolish if they think that stocks just come back. You have to work at it. I mean, you have to be. I wish we hadn't called them value stocks, but it was too boring to buy Caterpillar and buy Nucor. Carl, they wanted Flash. They wanted Fisker. They wanted Nikola. They wanted a lot of things that are charging stations. And, Carl, they may not come back as fast as people think, if at all.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.